Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at just creating this isometric using AutoCAD 2D. So in this video we will not be doing any of the 2D drafting portions. We're just going to keep it simple with this one and work on the isometric, and then I'll release a video later on where we're actually discussing this one using our regular front, right, and top views, as well as putting it on a title block. So we're just going to do this one and strictly an isometric. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we get started, let's go ahead and take care of some regular housekeeping that we normally do. We start off by turning off this grid. I'll go ahead and turn on the ortho. Since we're only working in the isometric, I'll go ahead and turn the ISO drafting on right now by selecting this icon here. And then we're going to take a look at what are my running O-snaps that I'll be using for this video. Okay, now we got everything set up. Let's go ahead and kind of create the box shape of this first. I think that'll give us a good starting place. So I'm just going to start with the line here. And I will go down a distance of 50. Now keep in mind my cursor is also sitting in the isometric left position. Okay, so I went down 50. I'm going to come down this direction. That is going to be our 90. We're going to go up a distance of 50. And then we're going to come back this direction, right? Now I'm just going to hit F5. And that's going to switch me to isometric top. We could have did the exact same thing by coming here and clicking the fly up. But I'm just going to go this direction, a distance of 40. I'm going to come down this direction, a distance of 50. Sorry, not 50, 90. And then I'll come back this direction. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch to isometric right. Click the wrong fly up. There we go. Let's do a line again. So I'll just go to L, enter. And then I'll click at this endpoint here. I'll go this direction, a distance of 40, and then we'll just go right up to that endpoint. Okay, so this is the basic shape that we have to create. Now we have some other stuff that is happening here, and we're going to just start whittling this off, right? So I'm going to assume like this is a three-dimensional part, and I'm just going to start creating these circles and things that I need. So starting here at the isometric left, let's go ahead and switch to that. I'm going to go ahead and create this isocircle. So I'm just going to type in EL, enter, I enter. I need to specify the center. For right now, I'm just going to specify the center right here at this midpoint. And then I'll type in the radius. So this has a big radius of 25. All right. Now we're going to move this back this direction, a distance of 25. So we'll just go ahead and use the move command. Select this object, enter. Pick a base point and come back this direction, 25. All right, so we do see that that circle is going to be there, and it's also going to be up here at the other side. So I'm just going to copy this circle. I'll go ahead and use CO, enter, select our ISO circle we created, hit enter, go from that endpoint to this endpoint. All right, now I'm just going to copy this circle as well, and I'm going to copy it from this endpoint, and I want to go to this intersection here, and then I want to go find out where this quadrant is. Now I know I won't actually see this down here at the bottom, but I'm just kind of prepping this for what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and trim this portion off here. So I'm just going to go to trim, and I actually took this line here and put it in the wrong location. Let me hit escape first. Let's go ahead and take this line here and copy it again from this endpoint to that quadrant. That's what I was trying to do. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to the trim command, and then we're going to trim off these portions that we're not going to see, right? So I'm just going to trim off that part here and kind of just follow it around. Let's go ahead and get rid of this in the inside here. Let's go ahead and trim these two off. Okay, that looks good to me. Go ahead and get rid of this line and this one. Okay, so now that's safe to say that, hey, that is exactly what we wanted to see. Okay, now we know that the distance that goes across from here to that edge should be sitting at 90, right? But we need that distance to be 40 coming back from here. So I'm just going to draw a line from this midpoint at 50. So let's start off with the line, go from this midpoint, and I'll go over a distance of 50. Let's switch to isometric top. So I'm just going to select here, go to isometric top, start with the line command. I'll just draw it going this direction here, and that height is going to be 20. Let's go ahead and move that. So just go ahead and move this line from this midpoint to that endpoint. Okay. So now we know that this line will come right to where it hits this line. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this from this endpoint going to that endpoint and this one. All right. So what this tells me is that I need to copy this circle to those two spots. So I'll go to copy this circle from this endpoint going at that intersection, and then I have another intersection which is located here. All right, so now let's go ahead and trim. We're going to start off by getting rid of these lines here first. So I'm just going to trim this back. And I'm still working with that line there. I'm going to do the same thing over here, which is all gone. All right, then we know that we got to get rid of this line in between here. And now finally we can start working on this arc. So we can go here, get rid of that portion there. I'm still following it around, like so. Do the exact same thing here on the other side. We know that it stops showing at this location and this location. All right. We can also trim off this portion here. And now we just clean the rest of this stuff up. Okay, looks like we got a little bit of stuff left over right in here. All right. Let's trim off this gap in between here. And now we have that completed, right? So this side is actually done. We're going to have to create the exact same scenario happening here. Let's go ahead and finish with this totally. We're going to go ahead and put the isocircle that is showing here. So I'm going to switch back to an isometric left. Type in EL, enter, I enter. Go find the center here. Type in the diameter, right? So we want to use a diameter, so I'll type D, enter, and then the diameter is 20. Now I'm going to copy this circle. Base point will be at this endpoint, and I'm going to take it to this endpoint, and also to that endpoint. And all I'm doing is just checking to make sure and see what shows. I know nothing is really going to show on the back side, but I'll check it just in case. Okay. Now let's start trimming some of this stuff. So I'll go to the trim command. I'm going to get rid of this portion because we know that we'll see that going through. On this side here, I'm going to trim off this part here because all of this circle is going to be covered by the edge. And now I'm going to zoom in here and I see that it intersects exactly where it's at, so there's no show that's going through the other part. So we can go ahead and delete these two objects. All right, so now that part is done. Let's start working on the arcs and things along this side. We're going to switch to an isometric top. Type in EL, enter, I enter. Go ahead and select this midpoint, and then I can go and just select this endpoint. That distance of this one should be set to 20, right? So I'm just going to move this circle back 20. So we'll go to move, select this circle, enter, pick a base point, go this direction 20. All right, like we did before, we're going to copy this. And I'm just going to go ahead and save us some steps here and do the math for us. Just going to click here. I need to switch out of isometric top. Let's go to isometric right. I'm going to come down a distance of 10. Okay. Now we got to figure out the gap in between there is going to be 30 plus the other 10, right? That we already have, which is going to be 40. And then we have one more distance, which is the total distance going all the way down, which will give me 50. Okay, so we went down 10, then we went down 40, and then 50. All right, let's go ahead and copy that line there from this endpoint. And we know we have a vanishing edge right along here. And then the other one is going to be right at this intersection. Okay, let's go ahead and trim all of this. So we're going to go back to the trim command. I'm going to start off with this line going in between here. I'll do the same over here. I'll start working with the rounded parts here. Let's get rid of all of this in the back. And I'll go ahead and finish off these other lines here in a second. So all of this is a no-show. I'm just kind of following this around a little bit more right on the inside of here. Okay. Now, one of the other things that you're going to see is that I purposely left these two vertical lines there, right? These are really good, useful reference lines for what I need to do next. I know that the depth of this goes in a distance of 40. So when I draw my line, I'm going to come from this midpoint, going this direction. Let's switch to isometric left. Going that direction, a distance of 40. Do another line, going straight up, a distance of 30. I'm going to go ahead and move that line from that midpoint to this endpoint. Okay. And then from here, we're able to copy these two lines, right? So I'm going to select this line here, go to copy. From this midpoint, going to that endpoint and down to this endpoint. Let's go ahead and remove that. And then what I'll do next is I'll go ahead and trim this. So go back to the trim command and take these parts off. And then I'll go to copy. I'm going to select these two lines, copy them. I need to switch to either isometric top or right. I'll go from here, going over the distance that I need, which is going to be 40 in this case. All right. So that's going to be the only line that I see is the one at the bottom here. So I can go ahead and get rid of that line there. Okay. Now we're almost done with all of the cleanup here. And let's see. Let's go ahead and move this line here from this endpoint to that endpoint. Okay. And it looks like I actually shortened my line here. So let's see if I can get it to extend. So I'm going to extend this line here. And then I should be able to extend that arc there. Perfect. Then we can hold down the shift button and trim off this portion here. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of this other stuff here. We can get rid of this line here. Let's go ahead and do some trimming. Let's get rid of all of this in between here as well as down here at the bottom. Okay. And now all we have to do is just go ahead and put our ellipses into this, right? So let's go back to the ellipse command. We're on the ISO top. So EL enter. See EL enter, I enter. Go find the center here. Type in D for diameter. It's going to be 20. Go to the copy command. And I'm just going to copy that circle from here down to here. Let's go ahead and trim. And then we got one more trim to do, right? So once we did that, we got one more copy. Let's go ahead and select both of these. Go back to the copy command. Just going to use that endpoint down to that endpoint. Okay? And now we should be actually completed with doing just the isometric of this one. So I didn't feel like making a super long video or have you kind of go through it all. But hopefully you enjoyed watching and actually creating this yourself. So like I always say, just leave me a comment if you do like these type of videos, if you don't want all of these super duper long videos. But I really do appreciate you watching, and thank you again. And like I always say, keep drafting. All right, until the next video.